What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Friday, January 21st, and we're going to be discussing about the crypto market. Are we in a bearish trend, or is this just a bear trap? Now, we're going to just do a little bit of an overview of the whole crypto market and some coins I'm actually feeling quite bullish on and may want to do a buying opportunity during this little bear dip. Now, with that said, none of this is financial advice. This is just my own financial opinion and for your entertainment. But I think it's very important that we all address what's going on in the market and also the history of Bitcoin and the crypto market. So before we dive deep, don't forget to smash up that like button, and most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure to join our Patreon page for insider trading tips and more. So with that said, let us go ahead and just dive deeper in what's going on in the market. Well, right now, we are underneath $2 trillion, and that is completely normal in my opinion. Since 2020, 2019, I've seen this market go volatile just like this. People have got emotional and, people spreading hate messages throughout, the social media, just saying, I told you guys the bear market was happening, and then all of a sudden, market comes right back up. The thing is, people think short term. They don't think long term. When I mean long term in the crypto market, long term is like a year. I'm not talking about 5 years compared to traditional markets like stocks and dividends and bonds. I'm talking about long term in crypto market is like a year. So it's not that bad. Short to immediate term is more a reference of weeks to a month or two or three. So that's just giving you an idea of how different the crypto market is from the stock market. So right now, Bitcoin did fall below 39,000, and that has made a little bit of an iffy feeling for people and investors to keep holding onto their funds. Now, if we look here, Solana is at $120. Cardano has dropped significantly, and if you've joined my Patreon page, you already know that I didn't want you guys to get involved in this because it was based on a pump and dump, which was more of a buy the rumor, sell the news, and that was all around SundaeSwap. And then there is Ethereum, which is below 2,800, which to me, I think is a huge steal. So I'm going to show you a couple coins that I'm feeling bullish on that I'm actually going to dollar cost average in because I haven't seen prices like this for quite some time. And this, to me, is a blessing. And if you're in the crypto market, you know that this is quite exciting. So I'm just going to show you a couple Twitter feeds, which was TechDev posted this on January 8th. Now, there's always something good to know, right? Which is the capitulation to the bottom. Now, if you see here the capitulation to the bottom, we see that every time that this happens, whenever we head down to a low, the capitulation phase, we end up going higher. And you can see in these green boxes, right now, we are not experiencing that. We have been experiencing sideways action. And you can see it in these red boxes, right? So when you do see these things, that means there's a lot of consolidation phases. And this can seem kind of boring. Even though we dropped down to around 29,000, went back up to 61, 65,000, it still was not a huge game. We were expecting 100,000 at that point. And right now, the whales, the market, are playing their games. So right now, we're still waiting for this phase, but just don't base it on this chart. Let's look at the history of Bitcoin, right? No matter what, you may think, oh my gosh, we're dipping so much. Well, look at the history of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has dropped even as high as 86% back in 2016, but no matter what, things always come back with Bitcoin, no matter what. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of long term. Long term isn't, 4 to 5 years. Things can change within a year, and it could be up within a year. And if you just look at this volume going in and out from Bitcoin, it's always going to go up. That's the point. It's always heading up because Bitcoin was built to fight inflation. It was a hedge against inflation. And there's always a set supply. There's always inflation going on with the US dollar. So if the US dollar and there's more money being printed off of that, where do you think people are going to flock to? Either Bitcoin, hardcore assets such as homes, properties, and so much more. But those are great examples. And this is considered a digital property and a hard asset. So Bitcoin will always recover. And one thing that I thought Butcher, the last bull stand, tweeted recently, which was a great point, was in the crypto fear and greed index, we are hitting these bottoms. And you've seen these bottoms before, right? We saw this during the dip happening back in May of 2021. That's when we saw Bitcoin go from 60,000 all the way down to 60,000 all the way down to 29,000, right? And that was pretty low, and people were scared, like, what should I do? But no matter what, if you were patient between May through July, and that may seem long, 3 months, but again, that isn't long. again, this is not long term in terms of stock markets. This is long term in terms of crypto. So it's faster. So then we started seeing an uprising in the fear and greed index, which means that people weren't as scared, that people were kind of falling into euphoria, which means that people are buying and getting greedy. And at these times, these are the times to buy. I was buying Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin at this time. And at this point, I'm actually still in profit. Even at this point, when we're at the bear market or a bear trend at this current time, I'm actually dollar cost averaging, right? So these are moments where you have to handle your emotions and you have to be really confident in the things that you want to invest in. So Willy Woo, back in January 15th, said 23% of Americans own crypto assets, while 56% own stocks. This is really important. The former market is 12 years old, while the latter is 203 years old. This is a rising political force. The fact that crypto assets is being adopted much faster, remember, the 23% is actually quite staggering if you think about it, because not too long ago it was 10%, and 11% of Americans were owning crypto. And because crypto has grown over the past year, it's grown much faster. And so this is a reminder for you that you're still early on in the game, but the risk of investing in crypto is actually falling quite fast, quite quickly. This is a staggering 12 years compared to 203 years. I mean, those are two different markets. And obviously the useful market, which is crypto, is growing much faster. And that's because of technology. Well, Clemente, he says this week's Bitcoin correlation to the Nasdaq reached a new all-time high. So basically, when we think about Bitcoin, we think it's not correlated. We think it's decoupled from the stock market. He's just basically saying that it's almost following a similar trend as the stock market, such as the Nasdaq, maybe even the Dow Jones. And so when you look at this, you're like, okay, this is basically this behavior that people are trying to fight off, which is risking less, but the thing is, this could be manipulation at some point too. So keep that in mind that, usually Bitcoin shouldn't be considered correlating with the Nasdaq, but in a sense, maybe we could understand why Bitcoin is taking a slight dip right now, because everything follows Bitcoin. Further on, this is posted on January 14th. Notice the abnormality of this chart. 2021 is unlike any other cycle that we've had before, and these are the 4-year cycles. Notice that this isn't the same to the previous years. So that means there's something new going on in this market, and we haven't seen anything like this before. And this is what happens when you have full adoption. This is what happens when institutions are on the prime to participate. And this is based on the market itself and the volatility within the market, the people, the investors, the hedge funds, the institutions, the retail investors. This is all correlated. And so right now, you should expect nothing to happen the way that you expect. And people say, the past doesn't, repeat, but it does rhyme. In this instance, I don't think that's the case. I think we're all going to learn something new this time. And it really depends on where you're positioned, right? And for me, I'm positioning myself to not hodl, I would say, because hodling is a perspective of I'm going to never sell my bag. I'm going to have diamond hands. That's good if you believe in Bitcoin, say, for instance, and maybe layer one solutions. But when it comes to riskier assets, like say, for instance, if anything is below a market cap of around 50 million, that's considered high risk, high reward. But say, for instance, if I'm into metaverse and gaming, I know that's going to do really well this year. So I don't feel like that's a riskier aspect. But in terms of like meme coins or layer two solutions or just, financing tokens, those things I don't believe in. I don't think people are flocking to get those assets. So let's go ahead and end this off because I want to show you some charting. Bitcoin right now has broken past my support level of around $39,000, around $40,000. Now, what you could expect to see is maybe Bitcoin could go back to $29,000. But here's the thing. I don't think that's going to happen because people are going to buy the dip. Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, and other institutions are going to buy the dip. They want you to sell your bag. They want you to not hold your Bitcoin. People are going to buy it. So as much as this is going to go down, say for instance, what if it does something like this, right? Where it ends up going into this trend where it literally goes that far down, right? What if it did do that? And it's decided to, say for instance, I'm going to just take this little line here and put it right here. What if it did do that and it went down to 14,000? Do you really believe that's going to happen? Absolutely not. And if it does go to 14,000, I think you're going to end up buying Bitcoin at that price. Trust me. This is not set up to go that low. It's not set up to go to 29,000. And if if I'm wrong, good, because that means you're going to be buying Bitcoin. That's my sole point. And so with this with this bear dip right now, I'm not surprised that we need this. We need this in order to reach our next leg up, because we were doing so well. We went all the way from 40,000 all the way to 67. Now, we need to have this breather before we do the next leg up to the high, hopefully to the above 64 to almost 100,000. There's so much in this price discovery mode that we need to look forward to. Now, two coins that I'm looking to dollar cost average, this is not Bitcoin, it's just two, and they're layer ones. What are those? Number one, Solana. I'm looking to dollar cost average into Solana. I remember when I was buying in at $121, I bought it at $33, at $73, and $110, $123. This is the price that I had entered in. Now, if this dips below 120, which absolutely could happen, say for instance it goes to $90, I'm still gonna buy into that. Why? Because Solana is it's active, it's in its beta stage, and soon it will get out of its beta stage and it will be a solidified layer one solution. Gaming, metaverse, everything about this says Solana is gonna be the leading, strongest horse in this game. I'm buying Solana right now. I love Solana. There's so much to Solana. And guess what? Right now, it's at its support level around 132. So it's actually right back to where it started back in September of 2021. Now, if I go to the chart, let's look at the chart overall. Look, it's bouncing right off of its support level, right? Right now, it's around $115. Now, if it goes below that, we could see a support level of around $77. But again, are you selling? No. If you sell your weak hands, you are not meant for this. This is how it works. Solana has built up such a track record, again, from $23 all the way up to $260. Now, if you don't know what investing is, it's knowing when to take profits. Usually you take profits here, but how would you know if it was going to dip any further? So for me, I always dollar cost average, because the US dollar means nothing to me. Cash is trash to me. So I rather invest it in assets that are Web3, because that's the new technology. That's the Google, that's the Facebook. So I'm investing in these dips right here, right? This is where you want to go. If it goes down to $73, $74, I'm buying the dip. Again, dollar cost average. Only put in what you're willing to lose. And let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum is another coin that I'm looking to invest in. This is another layer one solution. Why do I invest in this even though it has high gas fees? Simply put, it's deflationary. It's a store of value now. It's not just a layer one solution. To me, this is silver, something that I can afford. It's $2,700. Guys, this used to be $4,600. I mean, just think about that. Let that sink into your head. It's now at these price levels right here. Look, it's bouncing right back at these levels. All right, now we're gonna go to the chart. Now, at this chart for Ethereum, we are not even touching the $2,600 support level yet. So I would wait for myself. I will dollar cost average into this, very small increments, but it hasn't touched it yet. And if it does, I'm buying that dip. Now, if it falls below 2,600, we can see the next support level seriously at either around 2,300 or 1,700. Again, I highly doubt it, because people are going to buy the dip. That's just how it works. They want you to sell so they can buy up your bag, because that's honestly what I would do. So this is just an overall market. Now, let's just go ahead and put this into conclusion. What is going on? What am I going to do? Well, even in this recording, Bitcoin dropped to 37,000, Solana at $119, Ethereum still at $2,700. What am I going to do? I'm going to dollar cost average. $20, $50 for Solana. I'll do $200, $100, $50, Ethereum. The whole point is to get these opportunities so they don't come along. Why am I not putting $2,000 in Ethereum? Why am I not putting $119 in Solana? Well, it's because there could be more dips. But remember, I mentioned to you earlier, Bitcoin always recovers regardless of the dip. So what are you going to do? If you know that's going to go back up, what are you going to do right now? Think about that. So guys, I hope that this video has been helpful. Be sure to plan your enter and exit strategies. I want to share with you my thoughts because this market is exactly what we expect it to be. And if you're in this game, you know you're not shifted by this. We're not emotional to this. This is what we do. This is how we make money. And for all the beginners and newbies out there, this is something that you must learn in order to survive in this market. And trust me, the reason this market is young, the reason this is faster than the stock market is because of this volatility. Volatility is a part of this ecosystem. So guys, with that said, be sure to smash up that like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to join our Patreon page. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts of the technical analysis that we've done today, and let me know your thoughts on Bitcoin and the whole crypto market, seeing where we are going. And if you're buying in at any enter or exit points, let me know. All right, guys, I will see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching Cryptolution. Register on our Patreon page for our insider training tips and more. And don't forget to click on the affiliates link below to receive sign-up bonuses and access the Global Crypto Assets Exchange. Invest safely, and we'll see you on the next episode of Cryptolution.